there, welcome to our channel. I'm Vic.
I'm Nick.
And we're Envy Board Gaming. And today we're looking at The Lost Ruins of Arnak, the Missing Expedition expansion. We're going to get right into it here. Nick's going to start with what this adds to the base game.
So you get two new expedition leaders. You get the journalist and the mechanic. I'll go into a little bit about what those two characters do. You also get things you can add to your standard game. Our review portion is going to be mostly about what we have played, which is the two-player co-op.
Yeah.
You can also play it solo as well, and it seems that we'll have different. They'll have different cards for you to achieve. One for solo or one for the two-player. So there's the only two ways you can play it for the campaign. However, you can add this to your standard game. So you have more item cards and artifacts for your standard game. You have more of those assistants. You have more idols, more more things you can dig, like discover. You have more of those tiles that you won't add in the campaign. Do you have more guardians?
I don't
think so. No more guardians.
No.
You do have more research tracks that we'll use later in the campaign. We actually haven't got that far. We've played 5 games, and we are on we just finished chapter 3. So we have not got to those new ones, but there are new research tracks at the right.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's like a waterfall one. There's another one too. So there's a bunch that's going to be added, and with those two characters, so the journalist I'm a little more familiar with, and so are you.
Yeah,
you've been playing
played it a
that.
couple
So you
times,
get the newspapers that'll be randomized out there, and you'll have 15 articles as well. The newspapers let you do instant actions at the top row. You can just cover them up. You're going to start in a two-player campaign. You're going to start with 3 of those articles already printed. You can print them by discovering new places on the board as well. You can acquire more of those article tokens. So they give you instant actions. You just cover them up, and you get an instant boom.
Yeah. They pay an extra resource when you go to a discovery site.
You're talking about to acquire them?
Yeah, to get an article.
Yeah, so that's the main thing that they do. I was trying to think of what else. There was something else that
when
was.
You fill out the lines, you can add extra idle spot, right?
Yes, if you do fill out a row, the top row.
Yeah,
you can
a line.
More.
I mean, a row. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought there was something else that they added with that. But regardless, so you have those newspapers and you have the articles, and then the journalist has this gear. Maybe you know a little bit more about that. That was actually your first play. You had the not the journalist, the mechanic.
Mechanic, yeah.
Has that gear. They have the monkey, and they also have those gold nugget things that you acquire.
Where you get to basically choose a bonus after a certain amount of time has passed, or once you have a threshold of assistance already on your board. You can then add the monkey, which arrives either then or after the 3rd round. You'll get to add that monkey as an assistant. And it is interesting because it changes up a lot of the time. And then there are 2 that you won't have access to unless you, exile the assistant or discard it? Yeah, you can then have access to the last 2 tiles that you didn't include.
Is it a card you have to exile in order to acquire those nuggets? I think I don't remember to slot those, but it has a weird gear mechanism. But yeah, they also get the monkey, which is the 3rd assistant. Normally, you get 2 assistants with every other character.
Yeah, you get to rotate a wheel that lets you decide between silver token bonuses or taking a gold token bonus, depending on the card you play. That activates that machine mechanism. How could I forget about the giant wheel on the side of the board?
Yep.
Yeah, so 2 interesting new characters, I guess. Is that the name?
Expedition leaders.
Expedition leaders.
Yeah.
To play that this includes.
And in the campaign, you can choose if you want to play with those 2, or if you have the expedition expansion, expedition leaders expansion, which is their first expansion. You can play with any of those characters as well.
Yeah.
Which it seems to balance really nicely. We swap them out all the time, every game almost. We swap them out, try different other leaders. It depends on the chapter, what it calls for. Maybe one character might be better than another at something that we're trying to accomplish.
I like that you can do a retry as well. I don't want to spoil anything in this because there's a bit of a discovery to it. There's a story, so we certainly don't want to overshare.
Yeah, we're not going to show an overview of something like that's a campaign.
Yeah, but I do like that there are different challenges, and the co-op has been a lot of fun because Nick and I do play this game a lot against each other, so it is a lot of fun to look at it from a different approach.
Yeah. So what Vic was saying about trying again, I think you're basically keeping a little bit of a score type thing with how you're doing and accomplishing a different path, based on what your choices were in the game. You get you have to do these expeditions. So the game also comes with a campaign. It has a whole deck of cards that you will unlock different things, and you will have different goals for different chapters. And it'll tell you the whole setup in a campaign book. It's a nice campaign book that is pretty thick,
Mm-hmm.
6 chapters. Tells you how you're going to set up each chapter, what you're going to do. It might be playing at the snake temple, you might be playing at the bird temple, the waterfall, and so on. And it lays that out for you. It lays out anything you need to know in that regard. And you achieve different things that might give you help at the beginning of scenarios or
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So you'll have different cards that come into play, things to set aside, and the game makes you accomplish different things. It can be a pro and a con, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
um,
It's so daunting sometimes. We won't say exactly what, but yeah, sometimes you're like, what, you have to do that and this. I can barely get one of those things finished in the normal games, but you are getting a lot more resources with some characters than I ever remember getting in
yeah,
some of the
okay.
places. But anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it. Let you
So I'll
people.
just hit on what I was saying about the 10
Yes,
point. You,
sorry.
you can lose 10 points and then just call it a loss, if you did not accomplish something in the chapter, or you can just replay it, which we've done. We have to do twice. We've won 3, we've lost 2. So our
Mm-hmm.
replays have been wins. We realize the error in our ways and maybe switch characters and like, oh, this character would be better for this.
Yeah.
So it tells you right in the book this is what you can do, or if you're sick of it, just lose 10 points and move on. Well, we're not going to do that. We try to make sure to win every single chapter. That's not really cheating to me. That's me. Like when you play a co-op, I don't really want to be done with the co-op until I beat it. So we just try
Yeah.
to beat it.
I feel the same way, Nick.
All right, so let's go over some pros and cons that we haven't already talked about. First pro is yes, you can play this game cooperative now. And if you're a cooperative, if maybe you're a couple that likes to take the competitive edge off, then you will enjoy this. You will think this is refreshing. If you are like Lost Ruins, if you don't like Lost Ruins, this isn't going to change your mind. It's still Lost Ruins of Arnak. You're still doing the same things, just more focused on certain things, based on the chapter you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is only covering the campaign. We haven't played the standard mode with this added on, so we can't touch on that. We're just strictly campaign. Um, I like everything that's added. I like it still has that speed, quick play. The third player here,
Marie Antoinette.
Antoinette, is going to
Oh,
be
it's not
your
Marie.
rival in this.
Antoinette.
So that's your rival, and it's still smooth. It tracks just like a solo game. If you haven't played a solo game, it's still easy to learn because you're just revealing a tile and doing their options, and it will tell you which tiles maybe that might be removed or which tiles might be added for the solo because they have 10 actions
Mm-hmm.
and they play all 10 actions. So they're easy to handle. So that's a pro. It's
Yeah.
not a bunch of upkeep. Sometimes Vic doesn't even know when their turn's done. They didn't realize it because all I'm doing is putting a worker out. They're
Yeah.
just blocking a spot.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah. Research track. Everything that you like about Lost Ruins is still in the game. It's not taking any hits there. What about you? You got anything that you want to add for a pro? The pigeon. Pigeon's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I
That
like to be
option.
able to give
Carrier pigeon.
resources over with pigeons, and then hopefully you start the round where both person has a
You
pigeon
can
to
describe how that works.
send a resource over, and so that's been really good in the co-op, and just
How does that
getting
work?
uh, you can exhaust the pigeon by sending it over with the one resource of your choice to give to your partner when you're
Mm-hmm.
playing the game. But of course, when you start the game, the next round, you if you have not sent back a pigeon, you'll have two pigeons on
Two
your
pigeons,
side.
and they refresh every round.
Yeah.
So you can send potentially 2 resources to your partner if you've got them both.
Mm-hmm. And that worked out really effectively for how we approach different campaigns with getting resources over or having to pay costs to unlock different areas and then setting each other up or working like, hey, even though we both need rubies, everybody needs a ruby all the time. Let's be real, right? We both need an arrowhead. We both need whatever. You can, make it work by like maybe prolonging you doing that action. But yeah, I really like how this played out working together No complaints on things that it added, the different cards that we've played with the different artifacts and the different tools, that items that are in the game. You get to unlock some of them as you go through the campaign. So those have been neat, that the way they get added to your deck or maybe to your hand. Or I really enjoy it. It's very, very intuitive.
And 2 new characters. That's nothing wrong with that either. You get more options of ways to play it, and they're both have their pros, I think.
Yeah.
I'm digging the journalist a little more than the mechanic myself. Just those instant actions, but I don't know. That's just me.
Right. So, do you want to get to any cons? Anything
Sure.
you don't like? Because I didn't. I shared a lot of the sentiments you shared when we were just going through the parts of the game that it added. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have any negatives really.
I mean, no, not really.
Oh, you should have a good score then.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll go over the only negative that I had, which was I feel like some players might be missing the freedom of playing Lost Ruins, not having a focus, a certain focus, like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do this. People like to free roam, maybe they just want to, I'm going to work on that. I want to do something else. This one, it tells you you have a goal and you have to achieve that goal by the end. I won't get into what those goals might be, but they do make you focus on certain things. That could be a negative for you. For me, not necessarily was a negative. It was a change up.
Yeah.
But I can see if people didn't play Lost Ruins a lot, they kind of might want to get back to the base game because they haven't played it a
Back
lot.
to that freedom, yeah.
They haven't played it a lot and they like it. It's like, oh, but I like being able to do, my choices. I like all these different things I can do. Well, this one makes you, really consider if you want to go off course, it might cost you. You can do it. It's legal move to do something that, isn't necessarily contributing to the end goal. And it will still benefit you in some ways by getting resources or whatever points. But in the end, the points might not be what you need. It might be you have to accomplish something.
Yeah, a certain
the points are secondary.
Yeah. One question for you: do the cards that were added in this expansion, can you play with them in the base game, or do you have to remove them? Do you know?
I believe you can play with them in the base game. They get added as you add them, but there are cards that are for the standard. The standard one comes with 21 items. It says you can add these to the standard game. So in the rules, in our rule book, it says what is for the campaign only and what is for standard game, the expanded standard game. So actually, some things that look pretty cool we haven't even hit on yet. These, yeah. So I'm looking forward because we'd even add some of these new sites at all because they're not for the campaign. They're for regular game.
Regular game. Yeah. All right. Well, we can't wait then. What's the score? Do you want to give a score? Is it score time?
It's score time. Let's do this.
All right. I'm going to start off with my strong, big score that you thought would be coming. 9.3.
No, way off. Way off. I'm gonna bring it down a lot. I'm gonna go 9.2.
Wow, yeah, we're fans. As you can see, we like it. It was a great pickup. We actually got this at Gen Con. We hawked the CGE
hall before the exhibit hall even opened. We were there before CGE opened. We were just hanging out, when does this thing open? And then they opened when we were getting food, but we got it right away. We got that and sold.
Beelined it for it. Yeah. So we've enjoyed it. We can't wait to play more games of it and see how it plays with our standard game, as Nick mentioned there. Let us know if you've picked up this expansion or if you're excited to add it. And thank you so much for joining.
5 games in and we're loving it. Enjoy it. Bye-bye.
Bye.